What's going on, guys? Greg Farris back here at Farris for Fitness, and I'm with part 4 of my series now, breaking up my training split for you guys. This is going to be lower body day number 1. As you can see, it is a squat day for me as well. If you see, the name of my program is Farris 531 Hypertrophy. If you haven't watched the other videos, highly suggest you go and do that, because it probably won't make a lot of sense to you. And all these videos will kind of, if you watched the ones previously, the next ones will kind of make sense as well. So go ahead and do that, and let's get into it, guys. So you see lower body number 1 here. It is back squat. If you're familiar with Jim Wendler's 531, that is a major movement that I have in there. And I also have in here that it's quad dominant, so you'll see that. It's usually about a 70-30 split. I like to have it. And then my second lower body day is kind of vice versa. It's about a 70% posterior dominant as opposed to quads, right? So it is a little bit heavier in quad, but does have some glutes and hamstrings as well. And so let's get into it. The first movement is always going to be back squat, like every other movement with a Jim Wendler 531. So that's going to be 5s on my 1 week, 3s on my 2 week, etc. And then we'll move into the accessory work here. Again, breaking things down for you guys as far as the difference between my strength days and my hypertrophy days. So strength days, back squat 5 sets of 5 at 80% of my 1 rep max, and then same thing on my hypertrophy days, only the back squats at 5 sets of 10 at 60% of my training max, or my 1 rep max, sorry. So pretty much I'll do my 3 sets of the 5-3-1 and then follow that up with 5 more sets of back squats. The only difference is the intensity will be a little bit higher here, but I'm still doing back squats for my main accessory movement, if you want to call it that, on my program. Then we move into the second movement, which is a hamstring dominant movement, which is sumo deadlifts. Again, same movement on both strength and hypertrophy days. The difference is, again, the intensity, 3 sets of 5 at 80% or 3 sets of 10 at 60% there. You see, like I said at the beginning, a little bit more quad dominant here, so that's why I only have 3 sets of sumo deads as opposed to I'm doing 8 sets of total squats there. So again, it'll kind of be flip-flopped on my second lower body day. And I also feel like I can get a pretty good stimulation of my glutes and my hamstrings with only 3 sets of deadlifts there. And then the routine kind of gets a little bit different as far as the strength and the hypertrophy days with the third movement here. So you see the kind of pattern of a quad, again, I guess quad hamstring as far as the layout goes. I like to do it that way because I feel like your quads get a little bit of a break in between, and then the same thing with the hamstring. So the third movement here on my strength day is going to be a leg press for 3 to 4 sets of 6 to 10 reps, or on my hypertrophy days it's going to be leg extensions, 2 to 3 sets at 10 to 15 reps. So again, see the same pattern. These are a little bit heavier, a little bit higher in intensity, and also a different movement there. You're going to get a little bit more, I would just say leg press, a little bit more of a demanding exercise as opposed to leg extensions. They're both kind of isolating the quads though. I also feel it in my glutes and my hamstrings a little bit more on leg press as well. So I feel like it's probably a little bit more of a total body or a total leg exercise. Another difference, well, I'll point out with the leg extensions I don't have on here, I probably will implement some occlusion training into my routine, both upper and lower body, and leg extensions is probably a good place for me to put that in. If you're not familiar with occlusion training, I'll probably have a video talking about it at least somewhat, but I recommend doing a lot of research that on your own. Layton Norton has a lot of good research about it. So yeah, the fourth exercise you'll see here is going to be another hamstring movement, lying leg curl on both days. Again, 3 to 4 sets, 6 to 10 reps, or 2 to 3 sets, 10 to 15 reps. So I always recommend, whenever you're kind of doing a lower body workout, to have a hamstring movement from the hip and then a hamstring movement from the knee. So from the hip, you could do sumo deads, you could do RDLs, barbell, dumbbell, you could do glute ham raises, and then for the movement from the knee, you could do lying leg curl, you could do standing leg curls, you could do seated leg curls, anything where you're really working your hamstring from the knee, right? So that's kind of the bread and butter, guys, with the squats. And then you also have more squats, hamstring, quad, hamstring on both days. And then we'll get into kind of the more accessory work. I also hit calves and abs on my lower days. Calf pretty much doesn't really matter the movement for me. It usually is just a standing calf raise machine, or I'll do a Smith machine calf raise depending on where I'm working out at. Again, same kind of routine you guys see with the rest of the stuff. 3 to 5 sets of 6 to 8 reps, or 3 to 5 sets, 8 to 12 reps. Again, just pointing out that they are straight-legged movements. I don't see a big, I don't see really any point in doing seated calf raises, since they kind of work your soleus. Your soleus really isn't that important as far as a bodybuilding concern. So I pretty much just stick with straight leg movements for my calves. And then down here, I don't really have sets or reps for my ab movements, but I have been training abs a little bit more consistently this off season, and I've seen the benefits. I feel like it allows me to actually stay, at least seem a little bit leaner. I know that I'm not trying to spot reduce fat or anything with these movements, but I feel like, you know, having a little bit more muscular core, you know, you really can't build a ton of thickness in your abs anyways. But again, anecdotally, I've seen a little bit of benefit from actually having consistent ab training throughout my first 3 months of my off season. So ab number 1 is always a weighted ab for me. So that's going to be like a machine. It could be cable crunches. It could be Boso ball crunches with like a weight behind your head, something like that. Again, I work abs pretty much like I do any other muscle. This is about 3 to 4 sets, 6 to 10 reps. I really try to focus on the contraction though, and not just kind of moving up and down really quickly. I focus a lot. Calves as well. Calves are really body part people tend to mess up. You know, really slow, controlled negatives. Really important to get a really good contraction on calves as well with any movement, but calves and abs, I really like to do that. And then lastly, guys, ab number 2 there is just, you know, hanging leg raise, hanging knee raise, something like that. Something kind of focused more on the lower abdominals. Those are my 2 ab routines. So that's it for the layout, guys. Again, breaking down my strength and hypertrophy days. You see the differences, not too much. Like I said, leg workouts are pretty easy in the sense of setting them up, because you have your quads, your hamstrings, your glutes, your calves. You know, I throw abs on lower body days just from like a time perspective. But again, it's a lot easier to set up lower body days than upper body days, because you don't have a lot of tiny little muscles like you do. And again, I'm a big believer in heavy compound movements. You see that in my training with, you know, a lot of squats, a lot of deadlifts and things like that. You know, I'm not a big fan of doing, you know, 10 sets of leg press and leg extensions and little stuff like that. I really, as long as my weights are going up with the back squat, deadlift, things like that, I'm pretty much satisfied. And again, another thing to point out, when you're working with Jim Wendler's 531, it's important to realize not only will these squats go up 10 pounds every month as far as the 531, also since I'm working at a percentage of my 1 rep max there, with my back squats and also my deadlifts, the assistance work will also raise up by itself. So I don't have to really worry about pacing myself. It's kind of built in. I really like that. And one thing I did forget to mention is my sumo deadlifts at 80% and 60%, I pretty much just go off my conventional deadlift 1 rep max. It's pretty much the same for me. So that's the video, guys, of part 4 of this series, breaking down lower body number 1. I will have the rest, should be at least 3 more videos up on this series, maybe a few more talking about my progression, things like that. So if you guys can do me a favor, if you like the video, go ahead and like it. Go over to my Farris for Fitness Facebook page, like that. If you guys have any questions, comments, suggestions, like always, feel free to hit me up in the comments or shoot me an inbox message, whatever. I hope you guys are having a good holiday break. If you're a college student, enjoy your winter break. I'll have more good information coming soon. I'll talk to you guys later.